Hi, I'm Nicholeen Peck, and I teach all over the world about parenting, good communication, and building strong relationships through the lens of the principle self-government. In this video, I'm talking about creating relationships of trust with children. In this video, we're going to talk about why children might not be trusting their parents and what parents can do to create that relationship of trust with their children. We've got to fix the relationships, right? And there is hope. I'm guessing you're on this video because you have noticed that children are struggling trusting their parents. In fact, people are starting to think that it's normal, maybe even just a natural part of life, that a child would pull away from their parents or act like they don't trust their parents. Or maybe you've been in a circumstance where there has been something that has occurred, maybe a traumatic event, or maybe you had a problem and you have violated trust in some way with your child and you're hoping to fix that. Either way, what we're going to talk about today should help. It's super important that everybody in the family understands where they're all headed as a group and is able to discuss the problems as they arise. So as we're talking about the problems and what's really happening in this family dynamic, if you have a situation where the child is not trusting you or seems like they might not be trusting you as their leader, that does need to be something that is deliberately talked about. And you're probably going to have to talk about why this is happening. So let's assess what could be some of those reasons. I already mentioned maybe you did something that would hurt the child, but also maybe the child has just become disconnected with you or has been told things about you that simply aren't true, maybe online or from friends. Parents don't exactly get a lot of social support lately. Have you noticed that? Or maybe the child has noticed you behave a certain way with somebody else, maybe a spouse, maybe a pet, maybe whatever it is, and the child feels a little bit intimidated. Or maybe you're changing your parenting all the time, and so because of that, they don't know what you're going to do to them at any given moment. Sometimes parents will unknowingly create relationships where children don't know if they can trust them because they start manipulating. They start power struggling. If you get emotional at your child on a regular basis, the child does not know when that emotion is going to come out, how it's going to be targeted, what's going to happen to them, and suddenly they go on the defensive. This means that they aren't trusting you at the time. So what many parents don't understand that when they hit their children, when they yell at their children, the natural occurrence is the child doesn't trust the parent to do the parent things. They start looking for a way out or not sure if next time they're going to be able to trust them. And the more and more times that happens, the more the child recognizes they don't think they can trust their own parent. So then they want to now hide things from their parent. They don't want their parent to know what they've been doing. And this ends up creating that distance in the relationship that then feels so painful. So what do we do about it then? Well, one of the most important things that we do is we try to get on the same page about who we are as a group. This is important. Many times when we are in a position of not feeling trust toward another person, we start over-focusing on ourselves, which can lead to selfishness. Now, at first, I felt like I couldn't trust the other person, but now I'm starting to perpetuate a distance or a distrust, and maybe the other person will start not trusting me because I've disconnected from that person. We don't want to be disconnected from our children or have them disconnect from us, so we've got to bring the conversation back to who we are and where we're going as a group. This is going to be foundational for fixing any problem. Now, I know sometimes children don't think it's going to make any difference, especially if we've violated trust in really bad ways. But it's a good place to start regardless of if they seem receptive or not. So keep that in mind. Now, this book right here called Roles, The Secret to Family, Business, and Social Success is all about family roles. And I'm not talking about responsibilities because anybody can vacuum a floor or fold laundry or something. Those are just tasks that we do, but who we really are to each other in our hearts, that's what I'm talking about. And this has great conversations in it for helping you discuss roles with your children. There's actually a case study in here. The whole book is a story of a family who doesn't have their roles or identities in the right place as a family unit, and then they get those things back together. If the parents don't teach and the child doesn't learn, then there will be dysfunction in the family, because those are two of the roles of parent and child, is learner and then teacher. And we've got to make sure that we keep those things in the right place. So if the child doesn't trust you, they probably don't want to listen to your teaching. And this is maybe why you're experiencing some grief. You've got some dysfunction. You've got to go back to who you are. And then the next thing we need to consider is, where are we going? I'm most known for my parenting course called the TSG Parenting Course. The TSG Parenting Course teaches families how to be self-governing. TSG stands for Teaching Self-Government. And in this course, we start with the principles of who you are, so your roles, but also where are you going. That's just like the first little baby steps at the beginning of this course. So I'm giving those to you now. Well, as much as I can during this video. But where are you going is vital. I call that the vision, the family vision. Where are we headed as a group? So in our family, we picked a time in the future, and this was many years ago. It was almost 20 years ago now. We picked a time in the future that we knew we could duplicate annually as our practice time for becoming the family that we wanted to become. And then as this annual event happens regularly, we know we are practicing being our family, being the Peck family. This is a great opportunity for you to get the whole family on board. So as husband and wife, or by yourself if you're a single parent, plan out, what do you want your family to be like? Maybe 10 or 20 years in the future. Pick a specific time that will be duplicated no matter what, even if there's, no money or something like that. Something that the family looks forward to. Maybe it's a holiday occasion, or maybe it's a certain, camping place that you always go to, or a barbecue that you always have in the backyard. Something like that you always do, that everyone loves it. Okay? Create that tradition and then turn it into the vision for the family. It's going to have certain key things associated with it that the family will buy into. Then what you're going to do is you're going to say, okay, now how do we live this every day? How do we solve our problems and still maintain this family identity? Because sometimes maybe we won't see eye to eye on something. What do we do about that? Well, we need skills. So in the TSG Parenting course, I talk about skills that we need for success. So I'm going to get to some of the skills that we need for success, but before I do, click on the subscribe button now. This channel is here to serve you, and new videos come out all the time. Honestly, almost every single day. I do a lot of filming, a lot of preparing for you. So click on the subscribe button now so that you can get all of these great little mini classes at the touch of a finger. So let's talk about those skills that we need for success. There are 4 basic skills that I teach the children, and these 4 basic skills help so much with our communication and problem solving. They help us maintain that family identity and maintain that feeling of the vision that we want for ourselves and for our children. So what are those 4 basic skills? They are the skills: following instructions, accepting no answers and criticism, accepting consequences, and disagreeing appropriately. Now, these skills, if utilized properly, should increase connection and increase conversation, as well as increasing obedience and understanding. Isn't that fantastic? In fact, the children learn, I can accept my own consequences. I know that I did something that needs to be corrected. I'm okay with that. I can accept mom being a teacher and correcting me when it needs to happen. All of these things are part of just learning those 4 basic skills. If you want your children to trust you, life should be more predictable, not more surprising. Okay, I know people love surprises, but when it comes to parenting, when it comes to handling a problem that you're having with a child, surprises are your enemy. I know many people think, I'm just going to surprise them, I'm going to shock them out of it. Nope, that decreases your trust. That's manipulative. You don't want to do that. What you want to do is lay it all out ahead of time. These are the skills you need. These are the skills that I'm going to use to help solve problems when they're necessary. If you're going out of control and you're not calm, these are the words that I'm going to say. This increases predictability, which decreases anxiety, which is going to make you be able to bond with your children even during corrections. You should feel closer to your children during and after a correction than you even did before. If you are lashing out at your children, they will not trust you. You've got to have a new set of tools, and I can help you with those tools. That is what this whole channel is dedicated to. In fact, what I would like to do is share with you another video that will give you those 4 basic skills and teach you some of those teaching styles so that you can start correcting behaviors in a calm and connective way. So if you've enjoyed this video, I know that you'll love the next video, which is called The Not So Known Secret for Parenting Success. So click on the link to that video now, and I'll see you there.